Well, hello out there to everyone. It's 1:43 a.m., November the 15th, Tuesday. I want to straighten something out. I caused some confusion with the way I said something, so I made a statement on my last video that I'd seen some things out there where ideas were tossed around that maybe YU-55 would come swinging back around the sun in 2013 or something. And I said I didn't think so, but you might watch around 2015 or something, we'd have to see. I didn't really mean to put it out there that I thought that it was YU-55 that might. My idea was that you would see something probably in 2015 or sooner, but there will be some stuff going on above our heads then, because we do have tetrads coming in late 14 rolling into 15, and those are road markers. You don't see things like that. They're very rare, especially on the Jewish holidays they fall on. So yeah, in 2015 I think you'll be seeing something else besides those eclipses. So whether it will be YU-55 or not in 2015, we won't know till we get it. So the reason I say that is because you can come here, this is the old JPL, and you can look and see what, what I read, you read, I show you. So it's already out there that this type of event will not happen again until 2028. Okay? The closest approach to date by an object this large that we know about in advance. So I don't think we're going to have to worry about YU-55 anymore. But there'll be other things. But then again, you never know. You know what I'm saying? But as far as what I was meaning when I said that, I didn't mean to say it was YU-55, but you're going to have some other things coming. And then another thing I wanted to say was, before it happened, there was some worry about the trajectory and the orbit diagram changing and whatnot. And my take on that, now is, it was the same then, but it's over and done with now. But my take on that then was this illustration here was just shown to be straight lined. In my take on it was that the closest point between two objects is a direct straight line. So that's why I thought they used straight line, and this is an orbit of the moon, which you don't even actually see when you go on JPL and you look, watch YU-55 and the orbit and the other planets in the system orbit. You see the arc of the orbit, and then you see the dot of the object and the dot of the Earth, but you don't see the moon. So this would be like really, really blown up. And I think the straight line is just a very teeny tiny portion of the regular JPL that you wouldn't be able to see that, it would be so close. So I think that's why this looked like that. It's not a big deal now because it's already gone. Okay, so next, the sun's got some stuff going on, and we're talking Hyder flare, or at least mentioning Hyder flare. So we're going to go through and find out exactly what a Hyder flare is that maybe you don't know. And you can see the site that I'm on here. Well, let's look it up. The Hyder flare is intense brightenings that occur in the solar chromosphere. They're generally observed from the Earth using narrowband filters. Okay. Most flares occur around active regions associated with sunspot groups. However, occasionally a flare, sudden brightening, is observed well away from an active region or sunspot group. These flares are invariably associated with the sudden disappearance of a large dark solar filament and are termed hydro flares. Thick, long, bushy. Let's see. Why are they so named? We've left to Charles Hyder. Okay. What are the characteristics of hydro flares? Previously mentioned, the hydro flare name that is given to a flare that occurs away from an active region or sunspot group, and it is associated with the sudden disappearance of a dark filament. The appearance of these flares can range from a string of bright knots on one or both sides of the filament to a single or double ribbon flare. The ribbons are parallel to the filament channel. If only one ribbon is present, it will lie to one side of the channel, whereas if two parallel ribbons occur, one ribbon will lie on one side of the filament channel and the other ribbon will lie on the opposite side. An interesting characteristic of a hydro flare is that they usually develop or rise to maximum brightness much more slowly than do more common flares associated with active regions. A larger hydro flare may take 30 to 60 minutes to rise to a peak intensity and then may last for several hours, or although they may attain a large area, they usually have a relatively low intensity. Thus, classifications for a large hydro flare may read 2F, 2N, or possibly even 3F. This contrasts to an active region flare in which 3F is very rare. An active region flare that attains sufficient area to put it into the important class 3 will invariably have either a normal or more usually a brilliant brightness classification. X-ray flares and radio microwave burst associated with the optical hydro flare are also generally long-lived phenomenon and are classified as a gradual rise and fall type of event. Okay, well, we're getting something out of this and understanding more, aren't we? X-ray flares and radio bursts associated with the optical hydro flare are also generally long-lived phenomena and are classified as a gradual rise and fall type of event. Okay, you got that. Generally, the hydro flares are not associated with energetic particle emission or geomagnetic storms, implying that they may not be associated with a coronal mass ejection. However, this is not always the case, as a large halo CME observed by LASCO on board the SOHO spacecraft was most definitely associated with a hydro flare observed on 12 September 2000. The same complex also appeared to produce energetic protons of geosynchronous orbit with energies in excess of 100 MeV and in substantial numbers at energies of 10 MeV. It is believed that the sudden storm commencement observed at 045 OUT 15 September and the subsequent minor geomagnetic storm was produced by this particle CME. Particular CME, not particle. What produces them? Hyder's explanation of the flare type, now named after him, depended on the observational evidence that 1. Often the flare was a parallel ribbon flare with one ribbon each side of the filament channel, and 2. That geomagnetic storms were not associated with these flares. This led to the speculation that the filamentary material was not ejected far into the corona, but in fact fell back to the chromosphere, producing the flare. Stable or quiescent filaments are believed to lie in and along a magnetic trough. It is thought the sudden disappearance of such a filament is due to a reconfiguration of the field. In essence, the magnetic trough becomes a magnetic ridge. In this process, the filamentary material is thought to be accelerated into the corona. His explanation is that in the case of the hydro flare, some or even most of the filament material, instead of suffering acceleration and ejection, falls down the sides of the magnetic ridge and interacts with the lower chromospheric material, producing the flare. And if the infault process is symmetrical, then the double parallel ribbon flare will result, and if asymmetrical, then only one ribbon results. If the infall is sporadic, or the material insufficient, then only bright knots of flare are produced. He did calculations to show the kinetic energy of the infalling material should be sufficient to provide the required flare energy release observed. Okay. The bottom line, well, there's a little something there. The bottom line is that at this stage in solar physics, we do not really know what produces a flare nor what produces a CME. Well, that instills confidence in us, doesn't it? There are competing theories, but all tend to have deficiencies with respect to matching the observational evidence. We certainly believe that they all depend on the reconfiguration of magnetic fields as their primary energy source. But in the final analysis, we really only believe this because we can conceive of no other solar energy source of sufficient magnitude. And there's their little... Boy, that's a technical drawing there, isn't it? So we have a little something about Hyder flares now. So whenever we hear about the sun and its activity and what is or what isn't a Hyder flare. Okay, now I'd like to go over here and I'd like to go back into some knowledge that is not in the Holy Bible. These are some things that haven't been available forever, but they are available now. And within these writings, you're told things and you're described things in detail that can help you. Enoch was pre-Noah. Enoch was related to Noah. Enoch is a revered prophet. Let's take a listen. I've highlighted some moments within this video series. They urge you to mirror or copy or share or do whatever you would like to do with this work. So let's hear what Enoch has told you years and years and years before about the Watchers and who they are and what they've done and how they did it. And there's some other things about the space and the universe.
Book of Enoch the Prophet, Book 1, Watchers, Chapter 1. The words of the blessing of Enoch, where he blessed the elect and righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and godless are to be removed. And he took up his parable and said, Enoch, a righteous man, whose eyes were opened by God, saw the vision of the Holy One in the heavens, which the angels showed me, and from them I heard everything, and from them I understood as I saw, but not for this generation, but for a remote one, which is for to come. Concerning the elect, I said, and took up my parable concerning them. The Holy Great One will come forth from his dwelling, and the eternal God will tread upon the earth, even on Mount Sinai, and appear in the strength of his might from the heaven of heavens. And all shall be smitten with fear, and the watchers shall quake, and great fear and trembling shall seize them unto the ends of the earth. And the high mountains shall be shaken, and the high hills shall be made low, and shall melt like wax before the flame. And the earth shall be wholly rent in sunder, and all that is upon the earth shall perish, and there shall be a judgment upon all men. But with the righteous he will make peace, and will protect the elect, and mercy shall be upon them. And they shall all belong to God, and they shall be prospered, and they shall all be blessed. And he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. And behold, he cometh with 10,000s of his holy ones, to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly. and to convict all flesh of all the works of their ungodliness, which they have ungodly committed, and of all the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. Chapter 2. Observe ye everything that takes place in the heaven, how they do not change their orbits, and the luminaries which are in the heaven, how they all rise and set in order, each in its season, and transgress not against their appointed order. Behold ye the earth, and give heed to the things which take place upon it, from first to last, how steadfast they are, how none of the things upon earth change, but all the works of God appear to you. Behold the summer and the winter, how the whole earth is filled with water, and clouds and dew and rain lie upon it. Chapter 3.
We'll go into part 2. Enoch has a lot to tell you. He tells you about different things.
Joy shall be multiplied in eternal gladness and peace all the days of their life. Chapter 6. And it came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And Simjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then swore they all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200, who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon, and they called it Mount Hermon, because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And these are the names of their leaders: Sambazaz, their leader, Arabella, Ramiel, Kokarel, Tandel, Ramel, Daniel, Ezekiel, Berekajel, Asael, Armaros, Baterel, Ananel, Zach Lanel, Samsathiel, Satarel, Turel, Jonjek, Sariel. These are their chiefs of tens. Chapter 7. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them, and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms, and enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds, and beasts, and reptiles, and fish, and to devour one another's flesh, and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lowest ones. Chapter 8. And Azazel taught men to make swords, and knives, and shields, and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth, and the art of working them, and bracelets, and ornaments, and the use of animary, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. Simjaza taught the Jenkins, and bird cuttings, Armaros, the resolving of enchantments, Berekajel, taught astrology, Kokobar, the constellations, Ezekiel, the knowledge of the clouds, Arakiel, the signs of the earth, Shamsiel, the signs of the sun, and Sariel, the course of the moon. And as men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven. Chapter 9. And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw much blood being shed upon the earth, and all lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. And they said one to another, The earth made without inhabitant cries the voice of their cries up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men make their suit, saying, Bring our cause before the Most High. And they said to the Lord of the ages, Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, and God of the ages, the throne of thy glory standeth unto all the generations of the ages, and thy name holy and glorious and blessed unto all the ages. Thou hast made all things, and power over all things hast thou. And all things are naked and open in thy sight, and thou seest all things, and nothing can hide itself from thee. Thou seest what Azazel hath done, who hath taught all unrighteousness on earth, and revealed the eternal secrets which were preserved in heaven, which men were striving to learn. And Simjaza, to whom thou hast given authority to bear rule over his associates. And they have gone to the daughters of men upon the earth, and have slept with the women, and have defiled themselves, and revealed to them all kinds of sins. And the women have borne giants, and the whole earth has thereby been filled with blood and unrighteousness. And now, behold, the souls of those who have died are crying and making their suit to the gates of heaven, and their lamentations have ascended, and cannot cease because of the lawless deeds which are wrought on the earth. And thou knowest all things before they come to pass, and thou seest these things, and thou dost suffer them, and thou dost not say to us what we are to do to them in regard to these. Chapter 10. Then said the Most High, the Holy and Great One spake, and sent Uriel to the son of Lamech, and said to him, Go to Noah, and tell him, In my name hide thyself, and reveal to him the end that is approaching, that the whole earth will be destroyed, and a deluge is about to come upon the whole earth, and will destroy all that is on it. And now instruct him that he may escape, and his seed may be preserved for all the generations of the world. And again the Lord said to Raphael, Bind Azazel, hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is in Thedil, and cast him therein, and place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him abide there forever, and cover his face that he may not see light. And on the day of the great judgment he shall be cast into the fire, and heal the earth which the angels have corrupted, and proclaim the healing of the earth, that they may heal the plague, and that all the children of men may not perish, through all the secret things that the watchers have disclosed, and have taught their sons. And the whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin. And Gabriel, said the Lord, proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, and against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication and the children of the watchers from amongst men, and cause them to go forth. Send them one against the other, that they may destroy each other in battle. For length of days shall they not have, and no request that they make of thee shall be granted unto their fathers on their behalf. For they hope to live in eternal life, and that each one of them will live 500 years. And the Lord said unto Michael, Go, bind Simjaza and his associates who have united themselves with women, so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanness. And when their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth, till the day of their judgment and of their consummation, till the judgment that is forever and ever is consummated. In those days they shall be led off to the abyss or fire, and to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever. And whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed will from thenceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations, and destroy all the spirits of the reprobate and the children of the watchers, the Nephilim, because they have wronged mankind. Destroy all wrong from the face of the earth, and let every evil work come to an end. And let the plant of righteousness and truth appear, and it shall prove a blessing. The works of righteousness and truth shall be planted in truth and joy forevermore. And then shall all the righteous escape, and shall live till they beget thousands of children, and all the days of their youth and their old age shall they complete in peace. And then shall the whole earth joy shall be multiplied.
Well, quite descriptive, isn't he? He told you their names. He told you what they had done with our women and had children, and how they perverted everything. Let's continue.
Shall the whole earth be tilled in righteousness, and shall all be planted with trees and be full of blessing. And all desirable trees shall be planted on it, and they shall plant vines on it. And the vine which they plant thereon shall yield wine in abundance. And as for all the seed which is sown thereon, each measure of it shall bear 1,000, and each measure of olives shall yield 10 presses of oil. And cleanse thou the earth from all oppression, and from all unrighteousness, and from all sin, and from all godlessness. And all the uncleanness that is wrought upon the earth destroy from off the earth. And all the children of men shall become righteous, and all nations shall offer adoration and shall praise me, and all shall worship me. And the earth shall be cleansed from all defilement, and from all sin, and from all punishment, and from all torment, and I will never again send them upon it, from generation to generation and forever. Chapter 11. And in those days I will open the stored chambers of blessing which are in the heaven, so as to send them down upon the earth over the work and labor of the children of men. And truth and peace shall be associated together throughout all the days of the world, and throughout all the generations of men. Chapter 12. Before these things Enoch was hidden, and no one of the children of men knew where he was hidden, and where he abode, and what had become of him. And his activities had to do with the watchers, and his days were with the holy ones. And I, Enoch, was blessing the Lord of majesty and the King of the ages, and lo, the watchers called me, Enoch the scribe, and said to me, Enoch, thou scribe of righteousness, go, declare to the watchers of the heaven who have left the high heaven, the holy eternal place, and have defiled themselves with women, and have done as the children of earth do, and have taken unto themselves wives. Ye have wrought great destruction on the earth, and ye shall have no peace nor forgiveness of sin, and inasmuch as they delight themselves in their children, the murder of their beloved ones shall they see, and over the destruction of their children shall they lament, and shall make supplication unto eternity, but mercy and peace shall ye not attain. Chapter 13. And Enoch went and said, Azazel, thou shalt have no peace. A severe sentence has gone forth against thee, to put thee in bonds. And thou shalt not have toleration, nor request granted to thee, because of the unrighteousness which thou hast taught, and because of all the works of godlessness and unrighteousness, and sin which thou hast shown to men. Then I went and spoke to them all together, and they were all afraid, and fear and trembling seized them. And they besought me to draw up a petition for them, that they might find forgiveness, and to read their petition in the presence of the Lord of heaven. For from thenceforward they could not speak with him, nor lift up their eyes to heaven, for shame of their sins, for which they had been condemned. Then I wrote out their petition and the prayer in regard to their spirits, and their deeds individually, and in regard to their requests, that they should have forgiveness and life. And I went off and sat down at the waters of Dan, in the land of Dan, to the south of the west of Hermon. I read their petition till I fell asleep. And behold, a dream came to me, and visions fell down upon me. And I saw visions of chastisement, and a voice came bidding, I to tell it to the sons of heaven, and reprimand them. And when I awaked, I came unto them, and they were all sitting gathered together, weeping in Apple's jail, which is between Lebanon and Sneezer, with their faces covered. And I recounted before them all the visions which I had seen in sleep, and I began to speak the words of righteousness, and to reprimand the heavenly watchers. Chapter 14. The book of the words of righteousness, and of the reprimand of the eternal watchers, in accordance with the command of the Holy Great One. In that vision, I saw in my sleep what I will now say with the tongue of flesh, and with the breath of my mouth, which the Great One has given to men to converse therewith, and understand with the heart, as he has created and given to man the power of understanding the word of wisdom, so hath he created me also, and given me the power of reprimanding the watchers, the children of heaven. I wrote out your petition, and in my vision it appeared thus, that your petition will not be granted unto you throughout all the days of eternity, and that judgment has been finally passed upon you. Yea, your petition will not be granted unto you, and from henceforth you shall not ascend into heaven unto all eternity, and in bonds of the earth the decree has gone forth to bind you for all the days of the world, and that previously you shall have seen the destruction of your beloved sons, and ye shall have no pleasure in them, but they shall fall before you by the sword. And your petition on their behalf shall not be granted, nor yet on your own, even though you weep and pray and speak all the words contained in the writing which I have written. And the vision was shown to me thus. Behold, in the vision cloud.
Well, now you just heard him say that the fallen ones, and on behalf of their children, wrote a little petition asking for clemency for all the things they had done. They thought they could get a free pass if a guy like Enoch, who God loved dearly, brought it before him. But didn't work. So what's that tell you? They already knew they were beat. They already knew they got their butts kicked. And they already knew that he said he was going to do what he would. And that when he said he would do it, he meant it. So they knew it meant the end for them. And this was their last ditch attempt to get out of the end for them when the end for them does come. Let's continue.
Man and scribe of righteousness, approach hither and hear my voice, and go, say to the watchers of heaven, who have sent thee to intercede for them, you should intercede for men, and not men for you. Wherefore have ye left the high, holy, and eternal heaven, and lain with women, and defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, and taken to yourselves wives, and done like the children of earth, and begotten giants as your sons? And though ye were holy, spiritual, living the eternal life, you have defiled yourselves with the blood of women, and have begotten children with the blood of flesh, and, as the children of men, have lusted after flesh and blood, as those also do who die and perish. Therefore have I given them wives, also that they might impregnate them, and beget children by them, that thus nothing might be wanting to them on earth. But you were formerly spiritual, living the eternal life, and immortal for all generations of the world. And therefore I have not appointed wives for you. For as for the spiritual ones of the heaven, in heaven is their dwelling. And now the giants, who are produced from the spirits and flesh, shall be called evil spirits upon the earth, and on the earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men and from the holy watchers is their beginning and primal origin. They shall be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits shall they be called. As for the spirits of heaven, in heaven shall be their dwelling. But as for the spirits of the earth, which were born upon the earth, on the earth shall be their dwelling. And the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on the earth, and cause trouble. They take no food, but nevertheless hunger and thirst, and cause offenses. And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men, and against the women, because they have proceeded from them. Chapter 16. From the days of the slaughter and destruction and death of the giants, from the souls of whose flesh the spirits, having gone forth, shall destroy without incurring judgment. Thus shall they destroy until the day of the consummation, the great judgment, in which the age shall be consummated over the watchers and the godless, yea, shall be wholly consummated. And now, as to the watchers who have sent thee to intercede for them, who have been aforetime in heaven, say to them, you have been in heaven, but all the mysteries had not yet been revealed to you, and you knew worthless ones, and these in the hardness of your hearts you have made known to the women, and through these mysteries women and men work much evil on earth. Say to them therefore, you have no peace. Chapter 17. And they took and brought me to a place in which those who were there were like flaming fire, and when they wished, they appeared as men. And they brought me to the place of darkness, and to a mountain the point of whose summit reached to heaven. And I saw the places of the luminaries, and the treasuries of the stars, and of the thunder, and in the uttermost depths, where were fiery burned arrows in their quiver, and a fiery sword, and all the lightnings. And they took me to the living waters, and to the fire of the west, which receives every setting of the sun. And I came to a river of fire, in which the fire flows like water, and discharges itself into the great sea towards the west. I saw the great rivers, and came to the great river and to the great darkness, and went to the place where no flesh walks. I saw the mountains of the darkness of winter, and the place whence all the waters of the deep flow. I saw the mouths of all the rivers of the earth, and the mouth of the deep. Chapter 18. I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation, and the firm foundations of the earth. And I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the four winds which bear the firmament of the heaven. And I saw how the winds stretch out the vaults of heaven, and have their station between heaven and earth. These are the pillars of the heaven. I saw the winds of heaven which turn and bring the circumference of the sun, and all the stars to their setting. I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. I saw the paths of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. And I proceeded and saw a place which burns day and night, where there are 7 mountains of magnificent stones, 3 towards the east, and 3 towards the south. And as for those towards the east, was of colored stone, and one of pearl, and one of jacinth, and those towards the south of red stone. But the middle one reached to heaven like the throne of God, of alabaster, and the summit of the throne was of sapphire. And I saw a flaming fire. And beyond these mountains is the region, the end of the great earth. There the heavens were completed. And I saw a deep abyss, with columns of heavenly fire, and among them I saw columns of fire fall, which were beyond measure alike towards the height, and towards the depth. And beyond that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament of the heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it. There was no water upon it, and no birds, but it was a waste and horrible place. I saw there 7 stars like great burning mountains, and to me When I inquired regarding them, the angel said, "This place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come forth at their appointed times. And he was wroth with them, and bound them till the time when their guilt should be consummated even for 10,000 years." Chapter 19. And Uriel said to me, "Here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women, and their spirits assuming many different forms are defiling mankind, and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. Here shall they stand till the day of the great judgment, in which they shall be judged, till they are made an end of. And the women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens. And I, Enoch, alone saw the vision, the ends of all things. And no man shall see as I have seen." Chapter 20. And these are the names of the holy angels who watch. Uriel, one of the holy angels, who is over the world and over Tartarus. Raphael, one of the holy angels, who is over the spirits of men. Regal, one of the holy angels who takes vengeance on the world of the luminaries. Michael, one of the holy angels, to wit, he that is set over the best part of mankind and over chaos. Seraphim, one of the holy angels, who is set over the spirits, who sin in the spirit. Gabriel, one of the holy angels, who is over paradise and the serpents and the cherubim. Rebel, one of the holy angels, whom God set over those who rise. Chapter 21. And I proceeded to where things were chaotic. And I saw there something horrible. I saw neither heaven above, nor firmly founded earth, but a place chaotic and horrible. And there I saw 7 stars of the heaven bound together in it, like great mountains, and burning with fire. Then I said, "For what sin are they bound, and on what account have they been cast thither?" Then said Uriel, one of the holy angels, who was with me, and was chief over them, and said, "Enoch, why dost thou ask, and why art thou eager for the truth?"
Well, it's very descriptive, is it not? I hope everyone will watch this more than once, actually, because it is full of information. I mean, absolutely loaded with it. And if you pay close attention to the wording and the descriptions that he's using, you get even more out of it. Well, let's continue.
These are of the number of the stars of heaven, which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord, and are bound here till 10,000 years. The time entailed by their sins are consummated. And from thence I went to another place, which was still more horrible than the former, and I saw a horrible thing. A great fire there which burnt and blazed, and the place was cleft as far as the abyss, being full of great descending columns of fire. Neither its extent or magnitude could I see, nor could I conjecture. Then I said, "How fearful is the place, and how terrible to look upon!" Then Uriel answered me, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said unto me, "Enoch, why hast thou such fear and affright?" And I answered, because of this fearful place, and because of the spectacle of the pain. And he said unto me, This place is the prison of the angels, and here they will be in prison forever. Chapter 22. And thence I went to another place, in a mountain of hard rock, and there was in it 4 hollow places, deep, wide, and very smooth. How smooth are the hollow places, and deep, and dark to look at. Then Raphael answered, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said unto me, These hollow places have been created for this very purpose, that the spirits of the souls of the dead should assemble therein, yea, that all the souls of the children of men should assemble here. And these places have been made to receive them till the day of their judgment, and till their appointed period, till the great judgment comes upon them. I saw the spirit of a dead man making suit, and his voice went forth to heaven and made suit. And I asked Raphael, the angel who was with me, and I said unto him, This spirit which maketh suit, whose is it, whose voice goeth forth and maketh suit to heaven? And he answered me, saying, This is the spirit which went forth from Abel, whom his brother Cain slew, and he makes a suit against him, till his seed is destroyed from the face of the earth, and his seed is annihilated from amongst the seed of men. Then I asked regarding it, and regarding all the hollow places, Why is one separated from the other? And he answered me, and said unto me, These 3 have been made, that the spirits of the dead might be separated. And such a division has been made for the spirits of the righteous, in which there is the bright spring of water. And such has been made for sinners, when they die and are buried in the earth, and judgment has not been executed on them in their lifetime. Here their spirits shall be set apart in this great pain till the great day of judgment and punishment, and torment of those who curse forever and retribution for their spirits. There they shall bind them forever. And such a division has been made for the spirits of those who make their suit, who make disclosures concerning their destruction, when they were slain in the days of the sinners. Such has been made for the spirits of men, who are not righteous but sinners, who are complete in transgression, and of the transgressors they shall be companions. But their spirits shall not be slain in the day of judgment, nor shall they be raised from thence. Then I blessed the Lord of glory and said, Blessed be my Lord, the Lord of righteousness, who reigneth forever. Chapter 23. From thence I went to another place to the west of the ends of the earth. And I saw a burning fire, which ran without resting, and paused not from its course day or night, but ran regularly. And I asked, saying, What is this which rests not? Then Regal, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered me, and said unto me, This course of fire which thou hast seen is the fire in the west which persecutes all the luminaries of heaven. Chapter 24. And from thence I went to another place of the earth, and he showed me a mountain.
Well, what are we seeing so far? He's getting shown everything. He's getting shown hell. He gets shown heaven. He gets told what has happened to man and how did they do it. He interacts with both sides of them and actually talks to both sides of them. Seemingly even the fallen angels know that he's an important guy. So he is shown everything, and in his writings, from what I've always taken out of it, is he is more descriptive in the way he wrote it than what the chapters like in Revelation and stuff describe, or you know what I'm trying to get across. So let's continue to part 6. And
the last days there shall be upon them the spectacle of righteousness.
let's see. I think it was about right here. Let's start you off about right here.
Were driven out of the garden. Chapter 33. And from thence I went to the ends of the earth, and saw their great beasts, and each differed from the other. And I saw birds also differing in appearance and beauty and voice, the one differing from the other. And to the east of those beasts I saw the ends of the earth, whereon the heaven rests, and the portals of the heaven open. And I saw how the stars of heaven come forth, and I counted the portals out of which they proceed, and wrote down all their outlets, of each individual star by itself, according to their number and their names, their courses and their positions, and their times and their months, as Uriah, the holy angel who was with me, showed me. He showed all things to me, and wrote them down for me. Also their names he wrote for me, and their laws and their companies. Chapter 34. And from thence I went towards the north to the ends of the earth, and there I saw a great and glorious device at the ends of the whole earth. And here I saw 3 portals of heaven opened in the heaven. Through each of them proceed north winds. When they blow there is cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain. And out the one portal they blow for good. But when they blow through the other 2 portals, it is with violence and affliction on the earth, and they blow with violence. Chapter 35. And from thence I went towards the west to the ends of the earth, and saw there 3 portals of the heaven opened such as I had seen in the east, the same number of portals, and the same number of outlets. Chapter 36. And from thence I went to the south to the ends of the earth, and saw there 3 open portals of the heaven. And thence there come dew, rain, and wind. And from thence I went to the east to the ends of the heaven, and saw here the 3 eastern portals of heaven open, and small portals above them. Through each of these small portals pass the stars of heaven, and run their course to the west on the path which is shown to them. And as often as I saw, I blessed always the Lord of glory, and I continue to bless the Lord of glory, who has wrought great and glorious wonders, to show the greatness of his work to the angels and to spirits, and to men, that they might praise his work in all his creation, that they might see the work of his might and praise the great work of his hands, and bless him forever.
Well, now he's told you that he's seen the portals. He saw the portals. He understood and was told how did they work, what came out of the portals. It showed him practically everything. And he left it all for us to know, to help us.
Blessed
are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for what is right, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted in the cause of right, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people abuse you and persecute you and speak all kinds of calumny against you for my sake. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven, as it was for the prophets persecuted before you. In your prayers, remember your Father knows what your needs are before you ask Him. This is how you should pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Well, I hope you enjoyed all the information that Enoch has to offer. You can understand how we got to be how we are and how this world got to be like it is. Then you can start to understand the eternal, from day one, battle that's been going on and why. And you know for sure they're going to lose in the end, and God's going to crush them. He loves every one of us, and He wants you to take the free gift of eternal life and salvation with Him in His kingdom. So I urge everyone to accept Him into your life, because He can strengthen you, protect you, and love you. And where you live eternity, well, that's the ultimate thing. So, I hope that I recorrected myself and got my point across about 2015 and what may be coming back, what may not be coming back. I didn't mean to lead into YU55 per se, but you never know. It depends how big a lie they've told. If they're telling lies, and so far, what I can say is that they've been pretty well spot on. I have to give credit where credit's due, and I haven't seen anything crash and burn anywhere, or we're just trucking right along here, you know what I'm saying? So, what they have put out has been pretty accurate. So until they trip up and something happens, this is what they say. Not happen again until 2028. A close approach. Point 6. So, based upon that, they've done told us all, won't be an event like this one for quite some time. If there were, well, maybe there's something about YU55 they ain't told us, but we don't have the numbers to show that. But that would be plausible. So something that's coming sooner, closer, must be something they're not telling us, or must be something they haven't found yet, huh? One of them things they don't get till a couple months before it comes. Or we still anticipate a dwarf star arrival. And now we're all schooled up on hider flares. So whenever we hear talk on the sun about hider flares, we can understand a little more better, if you didn't already, what it is and different things about it. Now I'll leave you the link for this, and you can read it. This has been quite lengthy of a video, but I enjoyed watching it with you and making it. And well, what I can say is this is a powerful video series, and I hope that y'all go to the website, eternalword.org, and they don't mind if you take it and spread it. That's what it's all about, you know, sharing it, because this is filled with tons and tons and tons of information, and I hope nobody doubts it, because it's very powerful, and it really does help you to understand things along with your Holy Bible. This is just a small tidbit, portion, but it's so descriptive, and it is so true. So on that note, I will close it out, and I will speak to you all soon. God bless every one of you. Keep looking up.